farmer. Mountain back to Atlantic Ocean. Upon me hills to country. To educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah. Focus on Liberia. For Liberia, Liberia. For Liberia, yeah. From Monday to Sunday. From Monday to Sunday. It's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs. Hey. In diaspora. Current affairs. Reliable information. History. Talking about culture. Politics. Education. Entertainment. Business. Sports. Advertisement. Articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am...
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of On Point. It is 4 o'clock Eastern Time. It is On Point, and we have these gentlemen that are pretty seated, and they are on point. Well, as usual, Liberia has no shortage of breaking news. We have several of them, and we're going to do as much as we can to narrow it down and to be as fast as we can. There are news flying from everywhere. We got some pictorials that we're going to show you. But with me today to discuss the issues, I have Mr. Jimmy Eastman, the diplomat, Mr. Torso and Torso. Mr. Eastman, how is the nation's capital?
Well, Mr. Gilman, it's a pleasure being here to discuss our national issues. As you saw, when we talk this way, we got to talk so too. We have to weigh both sides of the equation. But we got a lot to talk about, and I hope we can provide enlightenment and a strategy for tomorrow for us to go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. And my co-host and the producer of the show, Mr. Michael Padmore, thank you very much. I know you just came from work. We appreciate you coming on. How you doing there, sir? How Minnesota?
Minnesota is great, man. Minnesota is great. It's a beautiful time of the year. The great Minnesota get together. The state fair is going on right now. So you have thousands and thousands and thousands of people, man, coming and just boosting the economy. It is crazy, you know. Every time I see that, you know, of course, I think, why we can't do it in that room, you know. But anyway, it is great. It's great weather time. It is great festive time. The kids are getting ready to go back to school, you know. So, and the Vikings are getting ready to play. You know, and of course that means winter time coming too. But we embrace everything. We embrace everything. However, please let me just put this out there. I want to give a humbling tribute to a great guy, Dr. J. Bankley Jarrett, passed away a few days ago. He was a doctor in bone mines. For many years. And so he passed away. So I just want to say something out there to his family. Liberia mourns with you. He was a great man, and he served his country and his people diligently, and he will definitely be missed. But yeah, so let's go. Thank you so much.
Great. And on behalf of our crew, to the family, I heard that name before. Most of the young men and women who are walking around here today had the services of Dr. Jerry from Beaumont a long time ago. So we reach out and our condolences to the family. And about Minnesota, yesterday, some guy was showing the farmers market where I actually saw some of the freshest food I have ever seen since I left Liberia, the bitter ball, you name it. And it was beautiful. And I'm trying to get to whoever owns that market. Can we order some stuff to send down? But anyway, Dr. Booty, how is across the ocean? My Chelsea won. I know you don't feel good, but it's all right. Go ahead. How you feel there? The fight was 6-1 today, Chelsea.
6-2. You need to get your facts right, Mr. Gaiman.
6-2? I don't even see them. We scored 6 on them.
Mental, let's do that
Go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is an Arsenal fan. He starts celebrating already. After Christmas, you won't see him anymore. Go ahead. You'll be just Aliu. He will disappear.
Nah, I'm here for the long haul. Arsenal or not, we're here for Liberia. Right now, Arsenal takes second stage. But no, I think if I can add my voice to yours and Mr. Patmos to say to the family, well done. Obviously to the doctor. I was born in Bongwan, and well done to the doctor for his service to Liberia, and we wish the family, the best in terms of mourning him, but also celebrating his life and service to our country. But no, across the ocean is nice. I'm glad to be here as always, and looking forward to a good show.
Great, Mr. Morris, another man from the I don't know, they call it 10,000 lakes, but it's 10,000 ponds. It's not even lake. Go ahead, Elvis.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Gamer. Look, I watched it. I woke up early in the morning. I put my alarm on to watch that Chelsea game. And the game, frustrated me in the first half, but kudos to Chelsea. But let me just send a shout out. He didn't pass away, but I was just looking at his discography the other day, and he really impressed me. I never knew that he was that talented. Friday the Supplement, or the Friday the Legend, as they call it. That guy is a very, very talented musician and dancer. I don't know if you guys have seen his stuff on YouTube, but he's really, really good. I want to send a shout out to him. I think he contributed a lot culturally to our country. So shout out to the Friday the Supplement for being a great Liberian musician and very good dancer. I never knew you had all the style and you're playing your music videos. Thank you, Mr.
Just to add to that, we had him here in the UK in 2012, and he's an excellent performer. I've seen him perform firsthand.
I never knew that. I mean, I was looking. I said, wow. Yeah.
Okay, Houston. How is everything in Houston, my friend?
Houston is fine. I'm here. I didn't even know that Houston had 2 astronauts that are stuck somewhere. Nobody called me to say if they need help or not. So.
You didn't call the mayor, huh?
But they won't need a muscle to go in space and fight space for it.
I'm glad to be here, and I look forward to being part of the discussion.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to talk about Mama Liberia, but let me make a major announcement. The month of September is going to be the birth month of On Point. And we are going to be paying tribute to some of the great men and women that have made major contribution to On Point. The gentleman who started this On Point that invited me was the late Edward Doe. Edward Doe began this process. He had this dream, and 7 months into this dream, he passed away suddenly. We are going to be paying tribute to him, his dream. Even though he never liked Joe Weir, that's why he called me. He said, I hate Joe Weir, and you love Joe Weir. Will be a contrast. Come on. And we became a very good friend. And all of a sudden, he got sick. We went to find out a few months later, he was dead from cancer. So we'll be paying tribute to him, his wife, and his children. We'll be checking on them. And then we'll be...
Mr. Gimme, just an update. Is Mr. Kamara coming back, or has he taken another sabbatical?
As we
We're
always
we're
say,
talking about paying tribute here to great men, then you can't call Camarani. Why would you do that?
Mr.
Why we talking
Elvin,
about
go
who passed away that you call Camarani?
yeah,
Yeah, no, but the men are great. We're talking about great men. You can't put Camarani as Simpson. Why would you do that?
Let's
Mr.
discuss the man.
Elvin,
They don't know where it started though. Yeah, Mr.
Mr.
Green.
Mr. Elvin, just like Mr. Jai used to say, government had to defend, especially when they're on the wrong side. This man just 7 months he quit. For 6 years we were out here defending CDC. 6 months the man quit. But anyhow, so we are going to be paying tribute to Dennis Jar. I'm going to call here, not consented, but we want to know who is Dennis Jar, where he's from, and how he got here. Because someone sent me a photo that he was in a refugee camp. So how do you go from a refugee camp to doing something this magnificent? We have to talk about it. And then we'll go around the room and actually talk with some of you guys, how you got here and who you are. A special guest that I will have during the month of September is, I think, Anthony Kwimokpa. We want to have a no-holds-bar interview where he will come and sit. We will discuss everything. We ask any question within the law and with respect. So we can do that. I reach out to him. He says, no problem. We'll set it up. We want him to come here not as an analyst, but as a guest. So we can actually delve into who is Anthony, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name, Kwimokpa. He said he's the second son of the late General Kwimokpa. We want to know who he is, how he got here, and the real story behind it, the myth, the legend behind it.
Prince Johnson say, not Kwimokpa song.
Okay, Prince Johnson.
Prince Johnson.
Yeah. How many real man of men in Johnson? So he say he's not a Johnson, so he can't talk crap. So this is where we are.
Prince Johnson are Gilman, man.
That's okay, Gilman. How many Gilman is Johnson? So we're talking about this. About the month of September seems to be like a great month, and we are going to be giving away few things to some of our diehard followers. And if we were nominating anybody, there got to be 2 people on this list. Dr. Waller got to be hands down the guy who trolls everybody. He trolls everybody. He follow you. He's a stalker. We got to call him out. He's our man. And then my own man, what he need, Livingstone, eh? What's his first name?
Don't even call Livingstone name because I will video that one. I may have said that
Flomo Livingstone will soon call. If he doesn't call, he will put something in here say you hit white guy and you go to hell and you will die by way. He will put it right in the message section. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the edition. Mr. Padmore, can you do us a favor and read the first topic here so we can delve into it? You are muted.
All right, thank you so much. So thank you so much. Our first topic here today is CDC partisans and security forces clash. There are talks of even more such warrants being issued. Former President Weah complains to ECOWAS. And we want to know the thoughts of you guys and the Liberian people. That is our first topic for today.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about politics in Liberia. For those of you who have been into politics for a long time and you've been into propaganda, you're supposed to know, they say one photo is worth 1,000,000 words. And I'm going to show you the photo that has gone viral around the world. This shot, if you want to see this photograph is all over the world. Joseph Boyka is in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is what's happening. So when you are talking about whatever it is, you do not want to give your opposition the evidence and put pictorial. It's a major form of propaganda because it shapes everything visually. What you see registers in your head and everything that follows. That picture sticks in the mind of everybody. Mr. Padmore, we are talking about clashing.
I think in one of the posting you mentioned where you say who is advising President Boyka and his security apparatus. How do you do drug busts in one neighborhood every day, and you don't think the other people will look at you as though West Point is not there, Nurugutam is not there, Point 4 is not there, all the other places not there, only this particular phrase. Mr. Pablo, you take a first crack at it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Man, I don't know what the people are doing. You know, you can oppose something, but you still be hopeful that somehow it kind of work. You know, you have a little, you've been convinced just a little bit like, okay, look, with 47 years of experience and they're bringing some of the old people back, you know, and they're pulling some international people, maybe they will make it work some kind of way, you know. So you oppose, but you still hopeful. Man, these people know how to screw up. I don't know if you guys remember about a month ago, or a little over a month ago, Yeke Koluba came out. When Yeke Koluba was hitting the government really hard and hitting Joseph Boyka really hard, he came up one morning and complained that he called it his base. It's just an area right next to his house that most of the time, you know, he won't keep bringing people into his yard, so he got a place next to his house where he holds his meeting, you know, and when his political people come, they settle there. And he complained how it had been raided by the police. All of a sudden, we see CDC has started to gain momentum. Boom! The police ready to raid CDC. So Eric told the MO now is when you start giving the government hard time, we're coming to you to look for drugs. This is CDC. This is the former ruling party. How do you go into the premises, near the premises, around the premises to look for drugs, 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, and don't expect for something like this to happen? I don't understand. How they even came out with that idea, and they thought it was going to be a good idea. They really thought it was going to be a good idea. Please give me a minute here. Let me show you. Let me just this is from OKFM. Just give them credit. But this is just a scene from that right here.
So they have to push them back, and you see now police are taking over.
So keep following.
Michael?
Yes.
The video has stopped.
Yeah, he's looking.
Okay.
He's looking for another clip.
Yeah, I was looking for another clip, but that's okay. We can start with that one.
Okay, great.
I was looking for another clip, but that's the scene. That's the scene you guys see. I don't know how many of you are doing a process or something like that. That's what that brought me to. That's what that brought me to right there. And I was like, what are these guys doing? Like, when those are the clips that are going viral around the world. And you say you're going Atlanta to go bring journalists or investors, you know? And one final point I want to make. Look, any country in the world, anytime opposition and security forces fight, who does sympathy go to? Nobody ever sides on the side of the government. Nobody, whether Nigeria, Kenya, you can name any country. When the opposition clashes with security forces, it is security forces 0, opposition 1. I don't understand what the guys are doing. Maybe somebody will help me y'all make it make sense, as the young children can say. Y'all help me make it make sense, please, somebody.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, do us a favor, share this show. Make your comments. We're going to publish some of the comments. Get involved. You can call the number. You can call our number here. Or personally, if you're a friend of Jimmy Eastman and you want to talk, you can call him directly. He will put you on. Dr. Obudi, same thing. Just call and get involved. We're reading the comments. We're going to get involved. Mr. Eastman.
Yeah.
Here we are. They are clashing with the seditions, and the seditions have a bullhorn. They have a celebrity. They have an international star who can make calls, who can amplify stuff. He has begun to do this by putting it in writing, sending the pictorial, sending the evidence, and said this is what happened. Not only it happened this time, but it has happened several times. Your take.
Thank you. But first, I have to ask you, who was in that picture? It was not big enough for me to see. That the one that you showed.
It was a lady.
It was
a lady being disrobed.
Yeah, it was a lady out disrobed by police.
By the police and taken away. I will put it in our chat room. So
for me, Mr. Gaiman, I don't believe this can be a strategy. Many claim that this is a UP strategy to dismember, defame, disorganize the CDC. I can't fathom something like this would be a strategy, because the president is in the U.S. making a case for the country. A negative reflection of the country with violence and pandemonium going on right in the nation's capital does not fare well. Honestly, had it been me, I would have been on a hot phone to the director of police. Somebody be fired, because when I leave the country, I don't want things to break out. I want them to maintain stability. I don't know how to. I don't want to defend violence in the streets and all of that. So to me, it's an embarrassment. But let's go to the core of the matter. Is it a strategy to dismember the CDC, or is it blunders? Again, colossal blunders. You know, you are executing a search and arrest, or search and seizure, and you know it was going to be right close to the CDC. And let's give them the benefit of the doubt that some people did run in the CDC compound to pursue them. Was that pursuit wise when it would have evoked or provoked the sort of reaction we saw? It wasn't a wise decision, especially when there's no evidence of any drugs or anything found. I think that police were called on the scene because things began to get out of hand. I believe the DEA, who initiated the search and seizure, were outmanned, and they called for backup from the police, and that's when it became this spectacle to be seen all around the world. I think these are mistakes. Because if that's what you want to do, if the intention is to demobilize CDC, well, that's not the method that's going to do it. This is going to energize them. This is going to provoke them. This is going to give them reason to justify some of the protests they do have, because they can claim provocation. So again, we're seeing a lot of unwise decisions being made, one after the other, and it's going to culminate into a discredit to the administration. If I were president, when I get home, I will call the security forces together. We need a plan that will not erupt into pandemonium in the street. And I don't care what kind of hard line you want to put on the CDC. They are a major opposition group. You have to tread with caution, unless you want to become a dictator-like force where nobody's in the country is able to exercise their political freedom. So I think this is another bad move, and somebody should be fired.
Great. Dr. Booty, in the president's letter to ECOWAS, he spelled out what are some of the evil things that have happened in the country. He listed that under this government that is fighting corruption, everything, the so-called corruption. What's about the cases that were passed on to them from the campaign, where people were being killed on camera? In fact, this Johnson girl that is now some HR person at the port, she was one of those that were accused for murdering somebody. She was part of a gang that murdered someone, and she was arrested. And for some reason, they said she disappeared. She wound up in the government's employ. So the president, the former president, is saying, you are attempting to go after us when you have the legitimate cases. Someone in 4 years was murdered. You have the names of the people. And people admitted to doing that. You left that, but you are following people. You say they are suspected of drug. In this United States and other well-developed countries, even when you are pursuing, there are times that the police will abort the pursuit if it's dangerous to the public, to themselves, and to the masses. How do you chase two supposedly drug dealers into a yard and you go in to search the yard for? Talk to us, Mr. Dr. Booty.
Oh, yeah, my response is going to be slightly longer, so I do apologize in advance. Mr. Morris, please don't interrupt me. I think first of all, I'm one of those who felt that President Weir, when he was president of Liberia, didn't have a lot of people in places in government who were competent. But when you look at the action of the police, right, I'm sitting and I'm thinking to myself, but these are the same officers who served under President Weir. And they didn't act like this when they were under President Weir, right? So it's the same police force. They've not brought a completely new group of individuals. So clearly the order that they're getting from the top is to go in there and act as disgruntled as they acted, right? Because again, the only thing that's changed at the police is the hierarchy. Yeah, you got the same officers in there, the same riot police officers who were there when President Weir was there. I remember the June 6th riot or protest. We didn't have, or I didn't see scenes like these when the guys did the June 6th protest under President Weir. The police responded, but the way the police responded wasn't as heavy-handed, disjointed, basically like hoodlums, right? That's how the police responded in this particular situation. Now, Mr. Eastman touched on something very important. In any civilized environment, when the DEA is going to raid a place, they don't have the mandate or the not mandate, but they don't have the force or the capacity that the police has. So they will take the police with them. You don't go there to go and raid the place without police backup. Realize that the people there are too many for you, and then you call the police and they come and check out the whole place like that. So that's another failure in and of itself. And then you go to the fact that okay, these guys have gone into the headquarters of the former ruling party. This is the biggest opposition party in the country right now. Now, I'm going to pause there for 1 minute. We've had the debacle at RIA when President Weir was coming back, and they sent these bunch of army officers to go there to go protect what peace that hadn't even been disturbed yet, right? So we have that already. We have former government officials being pursued on trumped up charges of corruption without any evidence being provided yet, right? We have multiple instances of these guys going after the former government officials. And I personally know people who, as soon as they put one election, I ain't even sedition. When it's, well, we were auditing, we were there. They're auditing, you're making it look that they are scaring to you, that Bukuman now, auditing to Bukuman, you're coming audit people that going to be scared. These guys have come into government with a mindset of revenge. I honestly do not know what President Weir and his government did to Unity Party people so bad. Because I didn't see it. I saw I witnessed the 6 years of President Weir. I did not see anything that he did that was horrible to them. You can have your issues with the Liberian government and how he ran the government. You can have your issues. But to say that President Weir targeted individuals, that he went after people, that he tried to destroy people's lives, that he tried to make things up to get rid of individuals, I didn't see it. So what is it that they're coming back to revenge for is what is bothering me, right? I'm sitting and I'm thinking, but what did the man did to you so much that you want to and destroy him? Because at least show me the evidence of the bad things he did to Unity Party partisans, the floggings, the wrongful arrests, the imprisonment. I remember when Manny Pacquiao made his AK-47 comment, we all were talking for him, saying, oh, you're the man. The president left by himself, even though he thought it. So what is it that this man did that was so bad, was so personal, that was so targeted at individuals that they've decided now that they're going to put the interest of our country, right? There are bigger issues. Rice price is over the roof, or what, I don't even know how to say it properly. Every basic commodity in Liberia is more expensive now than it's ever been. Those are the issues you need to worry about. But you go start raiding places for drugs, and then you acting like the United States. You're going to look for weapon of mass destruction. We see no weapon of mass destruction after you kill other people. So what? No, I'm angry. I wouldn't lie to you. I'm not a sedition. I don't support the CDC in any way. Yes, I love George Weah as an individual, right? But this is unacceptable. No government should be doing this kind of thing. We saw a woman. When I saw that thing, I swear I felt so bad. We saw a Liberian woman disrobed. You put it with me. I use the other word. I say script, what you call. But you said she was this. I saw a Liberian, a sister, because that's my sister. That's our sister. Disgraced. Disrobed. Even if she had this much drugs in her house, you don't treat her like that. You treat her with dignity, right? You treat her with, you're police. You're supposed to treat Liberians, you're supposed to be the civilian enforcement arm. So you do things civilly, right? You go in there and respect people's rights. You cannot do this. I'm angry. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm angry, and this is not right. This is not right. And I'm happy that the president took it to the right medium by going to ECOWAS, and let's see what they do, because this is unacceptable.
Thank you.
Dr. Buddha, I heard you refer to this as terrorism.
Mr. Elvis, Mr. Morris, yesterday there was an editorial in the front page Africa, and it says here, Joseph Boakai basically stop playing with us about this corruption thing. I posted it in our chat room. The combination of all of these things, we have unemployment, we have promises made, 10,000 jobs will be created in my first 90 days. No car will be stuck on a major highway. $22 million for road disappear. $500,000 taken from NASCAR before they even came to power. These are gross violations. Then we have the World Bank flag, $8 million being transferred from the Liberian account to an RS bank that the Unity Party owed, or Joseph Boakai owed, for campaign funds. All of these things. Some people say this may be a distraction. They don't want you guys talking about these things, so you come up with these fixing. Your take, Morris.
All right, thank you. I'll use a phrase here. There's a phrase, political maturation. It means the maturing of politicians and political parties. And I think both of these political parties are immature. United Party on is more concerning because they've been together for so long. They have a lot of political, quote unquote, elders within their party. And you would think that they would have matured, far beyond where they are now. On the side of CDC, I always say use the courts, use the court system. From what I know, the court is not against you. You have people there who is appointed by President Weir, not just based on that. That means it will rule in your favor. But they certainly are not people that are, against you in any way. They should be fair to you, at the very least. So when these things are happening, President Weir needs to challenge the courts. Take it to the court system. Don't just jump and go outside of the country and ask for help. Use the very same judicial system that you was, when you were president. When you see that you're not getting justice, when you see that you're being bamboozled by the courts, then you ask for international help. But let me say this. I think President Boyka is taking a page out of President Tolbert and even President Tubman's playbook. You remember 79, when Tubman was planning to leave the country, and the rumor was that when he leaves, they're going to execute Vargas and after them. And that was very well accelerated the coup. This is not by coincidence. President Yaka Koluba said something a while ago, and many people took it to be, for fun. Although he said other things that didn't come to pass, but he said President Boyka is about to leave the country. And they're putting the police on high alert. Something about to happen in this country when President Boyka leaves. He said this. He actually said on, I think, SKTV, and he made that statement. Many people thought it was, he said it was something akin to a coup that was going to happen. Jeremiah Cohen and his guys are doing something, but he had the inkling that something was going to happen. Perhaps this was this, and maybe even to a worse, to another degree, the raid of President Weir home, which is being discussed as something that could happen in the next few days, getting warrant to raid his personal home. So I think what's going on here is, like Dr. Moody said, Mr. Gaiman is saying, the United Party looks at CDC as a threat to the political, dynasty that they want to have in Liberia. And if CDC is destroyed, and people in the party, the key members as they see them, are taken out of play, then CDC will be destroyed, and they will be the only head, the main political, party in that country, and nobody can really stand with them, and they'll probably have power for the longest. These guys don't want to be out of power again. It hurt them so much to have to sit 6 years without jobs, 6 years with nobody paying them any attention, 6 years while having the privilege and prestige to walk around Liberia like big boys and girls and be the big men and big women on campus. So they don't want that feeling again. They know that it's a toss-up, if not even a slight, advantage to the CDC come 2029. If all things, stay, constant. So they're doing everything they can to provoke, perhaps antagonize the CDC, to plunge them into chaos and violence, and then put the clothes on them that they've always been trying to portray them to be, the violent party. They're violent. They can never hold power again. If they come back to power, they will kill everybody. You see what they did? We went for a routine raid, and they attacked the police. They killed police officer. That's what they want to do. And a political party like CDC have to be mature enough. That's why I keep using that first. You have to be mature enough to see your opponent's strategy and pass, and use the back door. Don't walk right into the trap. Use the court system. Take it up to the Supreme Court. And President Weir needs to be the one leading this. Let them go to the Supreme Court. Let the Supreme Court tell them that they're wrong. And United Party have the right to go and raid their headquarters. Let them go to the Supreme Court and like they're saying, the United Party have the right to go and raid the president's home as they're planning to do. Use the court system. If the court fail you, go to the regional court and international courts or the international bodies. So for me, I would just say this to President Boyka. You know Samuel Doe. You know William V.S. Tubman. You're not even a Tubman. And what do I mean by this? You're not a dictator. You don't have the kind of, those people were, Samuel Doe particularly were real dictators. Men of arms and men who were very, very, I don't know even the word to use, but military at best. This is not who you are. I know you're working at the government, so maybe you saw how things was done, and that's how you want to do things now. But that's not who you are. That's not who you are. And if you continue to go down this path, you will destroy your legacy, your family, the people who support you, You will destroy any good thought that we had about you after you served 47 years in government. And to President Weah, let me tell you this too, also President Weah, former President Weah. Africa, Liberia in particular, when you say you like peace, they take it for weakness. When you say you're a peaceful man, they take it for weakness. Liberian men will push your button. They will want to get violence out of you by all means. I see on other platforms people say, trust me, Joe, we are a violent man. Just wait and see. He's violent. You say he's peaceful, but he's violent. Just wait, you'll see it in time. So they try to do all of these things to push you to the point where you call for violence or where you call for some kind of quote unquote resistance, like you did in your speech. And they already started to say, you see, the men calling for violence. You say you're peaceful, but you're calling for violence. So when you say you're peaceful, they look at you as weak. And that's why they're testing you. They're trying to test your resolve. And instead of going the violent route to say we'll fight them with this, use the courts. That's your only recourse. If you use the court, and we in the diaspora and the people in Liberia see that you're being treated unfairly, then we come to your defense. But use the courts, talk to the civilians, let them be peaceful, use the courts.
Can I just have 10 seconds quickly, right?
Yes, go ahead.
So this use the quote rhetoric that Mr. Morris is preaching. We've got Gracious Right? They went to the court. We've got LTA, they went to the court. We've got CBL, they went to the court. What has happened? This government has ignored everything the court has said, right? So the president is living, he sees what's going on. There is absolutely no reason to go to the court because whatever the court decides, this government will just play deaf ear to it, and there's no way to enforce it because they are supposed to enforce the court action or court order. So he's done the right thing by going straight to ECOWAS and not wasting time in going to any useless court.
Mr. Morris, real quick before I go to Tao, all the cases that went to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court ruled against Joseph Boakai basically disregarded the Supreme Court and went on to remove people. And because the Supreme Court wanted to make the decision and the executive will enforce it. So how do you go around that, Mr. Morris? Real quick.
The good question, Mr. Gaiman. Those other things are, I won't say trivial in a way, but when it comes to the violence against civilians, it's life and death. So we can't trivialize it and say, don't go to the court, go to the court when I get justice. Because if violence breaks out, the first question it will ask you is, did you use every recourse, to get redress? And if you then exhaust all of those things, and you jump straight to violence, it's not going to look good for you. So use the court, even if you think that the government will not respect the court, ruling, you can use that in your favor in case something happened, but let that be in your back pocket. Go to the courts, ask the court if this is legal, what they're doing. If the court said no, it's not legal, then you have that on your side, and the public will side with you. This is politics. This is not war already. Use it to your political advantage. Be politically mature. Use the tools of politics to your advantage. Go to the courts. When the court rules in your favor and the government blatantly disregard the court ruling, that plays well for you politically. That's my point here.
Mr. Kevin, can I ask Mr. Morris a question quickly?
No, Mr. Bullock.
I'll come back to you. Let me go to Mr. Tao. Let me go to Mr. Tao. Mr. Tao, the editorial out of Front Page Africa goes like this: President Boakai, please stop the charade of war against corruption, please. And then in that article it says the Boakai administration and their agent at the NSA spent disbursed more than $3 million on a single individual in 5 weeks. $3 million they disbursed to one individual in 5 weeks. Your take, Mr. Tao.
Okay, so look at what happened here. I listen to everybody, and I see this thing from a slightly different perspective. And to where I agree with some of the stuff, or at least that Mr. Morris just said. I will start first with the picture that was shown over there. We don't want security forces going anywhere and falsely or brutalizing anybody. That picture, there is no proof in that picture that that lady, her top was removed by the police. We don't even know what happened in there. And if you look at that picture, I look at that picture and I read up on that. She's not being beaten. She's not bleeding. They're not dragging her. They're just holding her and she's walking with them. So we don't know. No. Yeah. We don't know what happened.
Mr. Tao, this is an intellectual program.
Let Mr. Tao finish, please.
Everybody have. Yeah. So from when I look at the picture, yes, maybe she was arrested, and then they escorting her. So I didn't see where the police were the one who took that. Oh, we don't even know what happened in that place at that time. Okay. Having said that, when they come to the whole corruption stuff, I have said here many times that this government is really never going to seriously investigate anybody to bring them to book, which actually should be done. But for some reason, all of the steps that seems to be like missteps, they are not missteps. Because if you really have no intention of doing something, but you promise that you're going to do it, you have to do it so it doesn't come out correctly. So then you say, I try. That is what I see with that. Okay. When we are talking about police going into CDC headquarters, that they're the largest political party, if you had a serious government that really wanted to do something, or a drugs enforcement agency, it doesn't matter where anybody go. We don't want this country to be like some group of people can go ahead and carve out an area that is like a den that is sit there because they were the largest, the person is popular. We don't want that. If it is done correctly, they should be able to go anywhere. I don't know if any of you here been to that place. I have a cousin that stayed behind that place in that Bonaz farm. I'm in that Bonaz Beach area, Bernard Beach. I went there. That area is scary. You know how they have a Watanga, maybe not up to that level during Taylor. Yeah, I went in that area. They have little palava hut and stuff in that area.
You say training CDC headquarters is a training base for rebel? Is a training base for rebel?
Hold on, Mr. Morris. Hold on, Mr. Morris.
They smoke in that area and they're just there. You see those kids, they're just laying around. I'm not saying that the police go in there. Whether it was something that was an actual stuff. But I'm saying I've been in that area. Okay, so let's just say they went in that area to raid. Here in the US, they always make example of. Go ahead, and then the raid you jump into a church, jump into something, they will go for you there. So if they want to arrest them and they ran into that area and they pursue them, 4 a.m, what is a whole battalion of people doing inside that area? And if the police went there, what was the interaction? Because this is some of the question we should ask. Did they just go in and say, hey, 2 guys ran in here, we need them? And if they were there, they knew the 2 people that were not part of them. Did they refuse to turn them over? Was that where the commotion came from? We should ask some of these questions also. It's not whether the police are using force or not using force, because what we don't want in this country is for one group of people, is whether it's CDC, whether it's Unity Party, whether it's ANC or APC, whatever it can be. All of a sudden, they go ahead and they militarize the youth in any way they can go ahead and occupy an entire area, and that area is a no-go zone. You're talking about the debacle of RIA. Mr. Boris said something here. The both political parties, maybe they lack some level of maturity. Mr. President, I don't think nobody should stop him from being a leader of his party, from for them rallying, but they have to be able to watch at least the way things are done. Man, there is no reason that the president is coming to people who are his advisor, go ahead and send a big group of people to the airport to occupy the whole place. I have people that work at that airport. A complete movement was restricted. People couldn't even go in and out of that place. This is the place that other people coming in and out of the country. If they're mature, they should know that. They could wait on him at his headquarters, party headquarters. They could wait on him at his house, but not at the airport. So the police didn't go there. They were restricting movement and they couldn't listen. You don't want people blocking that whole area. So Dr. Booty said that Honor George Weah, he didn't see something like this. What we can say is the degree of it. Maybe that's what can be debated. I saw many of it. The police, the same police you're talking about, this is the problem. Our police, because they want to say they hire this other person, is going to be non-political. They're all political when you hire somebody. We saw this on just about all governments and Honor Weah, and we've seen it here. The police pledge allegiance to whoever is in power. That is our problem. I saw the Taylor, Taylor, how you call that? This guy who owns Lone Star.
Taylor.
When they were beating people up, and the police just stood there crushing vehicles. The police stood by, just talking. I saw what happened at the U.S. Embassy. The police were there. They stood around. They did nothing. Why didn't they do anything? Because of the same instruction that they received from who was above them. So you see the police, the same police, out of frustrating their Honor Boyka, the same guys. You see what they're doing. So they go in there from the same instruction. Yeah,
Mr. Tower.
So you gotta give me a chance to respond to a lot of these things, right?
Mr. Tower, I will have people ask you questions, but it is disingenuous for you to stay here and say you want to compare police going on a political compound where the folks do you know if these people decided, do you know what happens on that compound? They have vocational school, they got houses there, they got everything over there. Are you telling me because they got in this country, if you went into the attempt, I said police and bought, smart police were and bought or pursued.
Yeah, you call for backup when you're overran.
And
you don't go for yourself
not only that, but if you need additional warrant, the folks are on the compound, they are barricaded, they're not going anywhere. Why don't you go? But the fact of the matter here, if you saw the warrant, first of all, they have
but not for CDC headquarters, they were behind the CDC headquarters.
In law, they have something called territorial jurisdiction. Why did the police leave the single area and went all the way to Nuku Town to get a warrant from some justice of the peace? Now that the U.S. ambassador got involved, the DEA people wrote a letter now disclaiming what happened was wrong, and they're firing the guy who led this. This is to tell you that it is sign of guilt. First of all, you have a fake warrant. That warrant, Nuku Town does not cover single. It does not cover that area. So you couldn't get a legitimate warrant from that jurisdiction. So you went somewhere where you found this man they call Robert Tier that was just appointed at Nuku Town. You went in that jurisdiction and get a fake warrant to go all the way across town to raid. This is why they came out and said they were wrong, and the person who led the raid is being under investigation and fired. Yeah, but Dr. Booty, you wanted to respond. You want to ask? Go ahead, real quick.
Wait, you disrupt me. I think.
No, let me just
go ahead, Land. I told you, Land.
This is not necessary on the platform. Everybody have a position. I'm looking at this stuff from a completely different position. Because what you're seeing here is our youth in every way being used. It doesn't matter who side they're fighting on.
But
this is what I want to
Mr. Wallo, excuse me, I'll call you.
The name is given.
Tao, it would make sense for you to say or still photo. We should disregard our photo because you don't know who took it and what they were doing. They were not beating her. They were not beating her. They were not beating her. They were escorting her. It's an embarrassment.
That is not what I said.
It is. That's what you said. You said you didn't know what they were doing. You said nobody beat her. Nobody. You don't know who took her clothes. No.
So why you think you were walking around the street at that? Or did she drove herself?
Roped her.
Mr. Tower,
the police was the one that did that.
Mr. Booty, go ahead. Dr. Booty, go ahead.
No. Hold on. Mr. Tower, are you done?
Look at what happened here. Look, don't worry about it, Mr. Padmo, because Mr. Gateman think that somebody disagreed with his position.
No, you're not disagreeing.
You
are giving false information. False information has nothing to do with this.
Let him finish his statement, please. Mr. Thomas, finish your statement. Don't be after you come out. Don't get emotional. Just finish your statement. How the show goes sometimes.
It's not about getting emotional. It's not about getting emotional. People should have the right for them to look at this stuff from another angle. We are all here. We all usually agree on the same things. Then it makes no sense for us to come here that we agree on the same thing every time, and then we just log off after 2 hours and then we'll go. I'm looking at this stuff from a completely different perspective.
No, but logically, if a woman comes to you and say, I was raped, according to your logic would be, I wasn't there when the man took off her pants. I didn't know what the man did.
Don't go that way. They leave it. The man said the woman. So she said she disrobed herself.
No, Mr. Tao, make your point, please, and then I can come in after you, please. Make your point.
Oh, go ahead. He keep disrupting me. So go ahead.
Are you sure?
Go ahead, Mr. Booty.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So first of all, right, let's back it up to the lady. Let's say that she was disrobed in her house. The police could have allowed her to wear something, right? So the responsibility is still on the police. Let's say that's how she was sitting on her piazza because she's sweating, right? So she took off her blouse because she's sweating. When they came there, she's a woman, right? Even if it was a man with no top on, my man, yeah, pull on your t-shirt, right? That's what civilized police officers would do. Secondly, Mr. Gaiman touched on it a little bit, but I'm going to look at it slightly different because this was the question I wanted to ask Mr. Morris. I've seen in civilized societies, right, where the police has a warrant to go onto this private property. Unfortunately, some of the criminals have ran away and gone onto this other private property. Now, the police, sensible enough, realizes that this private property, if we just go inside there, it will cause trouble. So you know what we'll do? We'll barricade. Yeah, we'll go all around it like this so nobody can come out. And then we'll go back to another judge and say, Judge, yes, we need permission now to enter this other property. So that some of us, like me, like Mr. Morris, like Mr. Gaiman, like Mr. Pat, we can't come here and say, oh, the police shouldn't have gone in. Why? Because they went back. They got a new warrant and then they went into the property, right? To go and get this person out that they think were there. You made a statement that I'm very worried about. You said, oh, they gather 4 o'clock in the morning. What are they doing there? Well, as far as I remember, the Constitution of Liberia protects freedom of gathering. What time of the day you decide to gather, where you decide to gather, that your business. You know, you can't say, oh, what are they doing 4 o'clock in the morning? Because they were out 4 o'clock in the morning, so they were doing something nefarious? No, they have a right. I have a right. I go to Liberia. Most of the time, I can be coming home 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So basically, you're telling me I'm not supposed to be outside in the street 2 o'clock in the morning, right? If I outside in the street with my friends 2 o'clock in the morning and the police arrest me, your response, Mr. Tyler, will be, what you are doing outside in the morning 2 o'clock with your friend then. You can't do that. Exactly. No, if I have one. But besides, no, but according to Mr. Tyler, we're not supposed to be out in the street gathering with our friend that late because then I mean the police get ready to beat us up. This situation was wrong. The police handled it wrong. You cannot compare inaction by the police under George Weah, according to you, that they stood by and did nothing. You cannot compare that with beating people. I saw them drag this guy, that picture they're showing, and put him in the back of a pickup truck. I saw the video. They drag him, put him in the back of the pickup truck. What would you say to that one again? Where's the dignity in there? Show me the dignity in there. That's a Liberian citizen that requires and deserves to be treated with dignity. Where is the dignity? The police should be more tactical how they deal with these situations, and this was not tactical at all. And it's very worrying, right? No Liberian should see things like this, even if you're from the Unity Party, and accept it as normal or acceptable, right? It's unacceptable.
As a lot of men are discriminating too also.
No, I didn't talk about inflow. According to Mr. Tawa, he talk about inflow.
Mr. Eastman, no, let me go to Mr. Padmore. Close on this, so we'll go to the next one. The reason I'm a little ticked off is during the Vietnam War, the New York Times took one of the most famous pictures in war history, where they put a gun to the man's head and blew. I think everybody's seen that particular shot. And it won the Nobel Peace Prize. It won all the prizes in the world. According to Mr. Tawo's logic, you don't know why that man put that gun to that man's head. Maybe he was just trying to gain cold water. But anyway, closer out here. Let's go to the next topic.
Look, this is what I would say. When you start to raise questions about, well, we don't know what really happened before this. This is a very, very hot political potato. It doesn't matter. That woman could have seen the police coming and take out her own blast. It doesn't matter. What carries is the picture of the police carrying her without clothes on. That's what the world is going to see. And that's what the United Party and its government and its security force needs to think. Whether CDC or the 5 people decide throwing rock before the police reply with tear gas, what the world sees are pictures of the opposition being tear gas in their own headquarters, not on the streets. Some people are saying, oh, the reason why the police responded so because the people came out of their fence and they blocked the main road. Nobody sees that anymore. What they see civilians standing in their compound and being tear gas. That's what the world sees. That's the story that goes. And when those kind of stories go, who do you think gets the sympathy? Who do you think gets the sympathy? They just gotta be serious about it. If you know very well there's a ghetto back there, before you go there, you better make damn sure there are drugs there that you can show the public and say, look what we found. Up to now, they haven't shown one drug, not even a single joint, to say this is what we found when we went back there. So what was the rate about then? All these things you have to think about. But anyway, that's what we can go on. I think we exhausted this topic.
Great. Listen, if we have some time, we'll come back.
But give Mr. Eastman 30 seconds. Let me wrap up too. Maybe you got something to say.
Yeah. The diplomat, you have read this issue. Go ahead.
Yeah. I cannot re-emphasize how wrong this is. I don't care what the objective is. If it's to break up CDC, this is the wrong way of going about it, unless you want to become a dictator. If it was in the line of duty, it still was not the proper procedure. Just like Mr. Padma was saying, they should have had surveillance and all evidence necessary to effect an arrest. We're seeing things with our eyes now that will culminate into something else. And if President Buckeye doesn't get a handle on these things, they will get out of hand. I don't care if it's now, if it's today or tomorrow, but eventually it will embolden people to do worse things. That's what we're looking at right here. So let's make a clarion call so somebody with a level head puts a stop to this.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, today is August 25th, a day after our Flag Day. And there's this debate all over the country, in every community, that some people want to change our flag, some of the symbols. And they are saying the flag doesn't represent us, who we are. It represents one segment of our society. Some people are saying we need to redo the whole thing, start from scratch. And there are some of us who on the other side who are saying, no, I think Todd used to use a word that came back to haunt us. He says, I may not be the speedy they call me, but I believe in gradualism, incrementalism. Let us build on what we have, make some correction, and move on so we safeguard the state. And you had those who were on the other side saying, no, we don't have time.
we want to do it, we have to do it now. So now people are now calling for the redoing of our national symbols, our flag, our seal, our coat of honor, our coat of arms. All of these things, people are calling for it. So here we are. We have two sides here. Then we have a slither of a small group in the middle, the centrists, that are saying, yes, some wording need to be changed, but there's no need to break everything up and start from scratch. So we're going to start with a diplomat here. Honorable Eastman, here we are, two sides of the divide. Some are saying, let's scratch the whole thing. It's not worth it. It looks too much like America. We don't want to be America. We want to be our own. And there are those who are saying, yeah, we can tweak it a little bit, but it's not a flag that made us to be corrupt as we are. It's not a flag that made us to be killing ourselves. It's not a flag that make us looting our country. Mr. Eastman.
I think we need to go to the rudimentary question. What is the purpose of a national flag? Because if we don't know that purpose, then we will not know whether we should change this one or keep it. Okay? Now, the whole idea of a flag is a representation of a country. Flag started, I think it was in the 17th century when vessels started identifying themselves with flags so you can recognize who they are. So if this Liberian flag today, it looks red, white, and blue with stripes. It's not the colors of Africa, which is gold, red, green, and black. Those are the symbols. If you notice, in most African flags, those are the colors they use because those are representative colors of the African struggle. So what we hear on the other end of the argument is has some old meaning. It's the oldest flag. It means so much. But if that meaning is lost today, if our children don't feel no attachment to that whole episode of migrants coming to Liberia, establishing this country where the whole of Africa was colonized, and preserving this land so that Africans could exercise, be free of enslavement. If they don't feel it's necessary, and they rather look at what Africa is going tomorrow, the direction we are taking tomorrow, then that is important. I want to say one more thing here before I close on this matter. There's a brilliant management person. He was an authority on management. And he had this saying. He says, culture eats strategy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. My people, if we want to go anywhere, no matter what the goals we set, no matter where direction we want to go, if we do not change culture, we're not getting there. Culture will determine where we go in this life. So before we even address flag issues, have we sat down and looked at our culture and see where it's going, and how can we address our culture so we end up to the goal we want to go? I think those are the questions we're supposed to be answering or asking ourselves. I don't believe that the emblem or the love of liberty brought us here is a representative of the Liberian people today. I believe it should be the love of liberty binds us here, unites us here, but we're not. This is not what is being considered. You know, I think we need a close examination of ourselves to determine what our culture is and how we want to change it. But anything superficial will not change anything. So I agree with those who say making superficial changes is not enough. We need to make profound changes, the way we think, the way we behave, the way we aspire, and who we're supposed to look up to and not. Those are the kind of changes we need to address. This flag change, it wouldn't make, it doesn't make a difference, but it's a piece of cloth flying on a pole.
You're muted.
I'm done.
Dr. Booty, let's look at the Liberian flag. We'll take it one at a time. The seal and the coat of arms, I agree. We, instead of love of liberty brought us here, love of liberty bind us, or love of liberty put us, whatever it is, it will make sense. As far as the flag is concerned, let's look at the definition of our Liberian flag. The red, white, and blue, okay? The red, we say valor. That's we have a fighting spirit. We can fight. You go to the master man, you like to fight. You go to the minor man, they will fight for what they believe in. We all believe in that. So we accept that. The white, we say moral excellence, okay? Moral clarity. Every tribe has that. They believe in that. Then we look at the blue. The blue is fidelity, to be truthful, to be honest, to be loved, to defend. We all love that. So what is it about this particular red, white, and blue? I agree. It is our custom, it's our duty. If we're going to change anything, it should not be the flag. That's my say so, because I understand what it stands for. I know some folks say it looks too much like America, but what does this flag mean, and why? Where do you stand on this?
Well, I think first of all, I'll talk about the other things that you probably left out. So the 11 stripes that talk about, focuses on the 11 signatories to the Declaration of Independence. And I'm just going to say, Sano County, Oye, I will on their signing too. So all the other county, then we sign, I open it. So anyway, jokes aside, and then obviously, the blue field representing the dark continent of Africa. That's factual. At the time that we declared independence, Africa didn't have any other independent country. And then the star is in the only independent country on the continent. I'm with you, Mr. Gaiman. I don't think we should change our flag. All right. I believe that I love the flag. Obviously you can see a little small flag right on my desk behind me. I look at it every day as I work. It heightens my love for my country, and I love the Liberian flag. It's unique. I know we talked. I think it's Ambassador Eastman mentioned that the other flags on the continent have a red, yellow, and green. Let them be having a red, yellow, and green. We're unique. We're not part of them. Yes, we're on the continent, but we're unique. There's something different about Liberia and Liberians, and we should be proud of that. And I think the flag is a demonstration of that. To touch on your other point, I've listened to the argument, right? So my mentor happened to be the lady who went and threw bomb in Liberia recently with her Independence Day oration, right? And I had the privilege of reading her dissertation and her thesis proposal before it was submitted many years ago. 2014 or something like that, and she argued for this changing of that. The love of liberty brought us here to the love of liberty unites us here. This is what she proposed. When I think about it critically, right, and most of us in here learned this in schools, different schools we went to in Liberia. Almost all of us came from somewhere, right? The Kru people came from somewhere. Yeah. The Madingo people came from somewhere. The Fula people came from somewhere. The Bassa people came from somewhere. No, my brother, let me talk. Don't interrupt me like Mr. Tao. I thought you were all friendly today, G. I thought you were all friendly. Yeah, man. I thought you were friendly. Why you can't that doing me like Mr. Tao? I beg you. No, but we all came. That Mr. Patmo helped me when I finished. But that's the history I read in Liberia. That's what we were taught in school. That we all came from somewhere. We were not all born on the coast that we call Liberia today, right? We all came from somewhere. So I personally, if I want to be, kind of not on the fence, but devil's advocate, I don't see a reason, because we all came. The love of liberty brought all of us, to that place. Even though my grandmother, Kru Oma used to say, the love of liberty didn't bring me a maybe here, but at the end of the day, it brought all of us, and I don't think we should change for changing's sake, right? And Mr. Eastman touched on culture. I think Liberia lacks, Liberians lack this sense of country, this sense of patriotism, this sense of togetherness, this sense of unity, right? And that is what we should focus on. I don't think the flag is the issue. I don't think the love of liberty is the issue. I think us as Liberians, we are the issues, right? We need to find a way to work together. We need to find a way to exist together, even when we disagree. And I think that is the starting point for me. The symbols I love, and I think we should keep them. At the end of the day, these things were created for the time, yes, but that was our history. That is our history, and we should keep that history, right? And then build on. Look, if the seal stay as it is, and we unite, Liberia will be a great country. When I say, oh, because the seal get ship on it, so Liberia is a great country. We the crew process will let ship in and go will feature men, So we ain't get complaint, to be honest with you.
Great, Mr. Morris. Like I keep saying, the flag thing is a distraction. The flag did not tell people to go steal $3 million in 3 weeks. The flag did not tell us to take our money and bring it in the West. The flag did not say we should kill each other. The flag did not say we should disrespect each other. So we as human beings, we came to the United States. My brother is in Great Britain. That flag does not include him. The flag here does not include us. But guess what? We are here defending it because it stands for something that benefits all. So what's wrong with the Liberian flag? We making it what it is. The currency, like the people say in the United States dollar does not have gold anymore. It is trust. What's wrong with Liberia rallying around the flag and making it better? You're leaving a man who is stealing millions of dollars. He's not talking about that, but he's talking about the flag. Talk to me, Mr. Morris.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gilman. Look, if I look at the Liberian flag and I tell you the red stands for the blood that was shed for this land, the white stands for the peace that we fought for to have peace of mind, the blue stand for the water of our blue shores, and the white star stand for, one united people or one nation. It's a lazy flag because the flag had already existed. They just ascribed new meaning to the colors on the flag. The Lone Star flag of Texas. They say there's another one in Louisiana. That flag has been existing for a long time. They just ascribe different meaning to it. And that very motto, the love of liberty, brought us here. This nation was made in the image of people who had, been repatriated to Liberia after, some of them were enslaved and others were, born free. But this was their vision of a country. This was their vision. And before my people, for example, was, brought into the fold in, I think, 1964 or 1960 or so, that flag represented a specific group of people and their motto and their ideology, right? Nobody is saying that the contribution that the quote-unquote American Liberians, made to the nation in the spawning should be completely removed. But no offense to them, but they're a very small minority now in the country. What's wrong with reforming our national identity that will include them, pay homage to them for founding the country, but also incorporate the identities of the other people that was on the land? Because of course, people like to use this against the native that you never even thought about having a country of your own. Matter of fact, you were fighting against each other. Matter of fact, you were not a nation, you were not together, you were just spread out. You had no collective will. They use that as something to disparage us. We were the one who thought of a nation. We were the one who founded this country. It's our country. Without us, you won't have a country. So why can't we prove together now that we as a people collectively we can establish a nation with a common goal, and everybody or every region will be reflected in our symbols, including the American Liberians and the quote-unquote Congo people who have established a nation. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with other people wanting to be included in it?
Okay,
let me finish, Mr. Gilman.
Yeah, real
now,
quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. We have almost 20 tribes or ethnic groups in Liberia.
That's not the point. You see, don't
No, but listen,
belittle it.
Let him
So
make his
what?
point.
no,
20 tribes is not good enough,
but
but
listen,
one group of people should
but
dominate the
listen,
entire
but
symbols of our
listen,
nation? Well,
listen.
what does that say?
There is nothing on our flag that say Congo people. What I'm saying, if you have a flag that have Bassa, crew, all 20, how
Who
big would this
who
flag be? How
who gave you the
large would this flag
interpretation
be?
of the flag?
Huh?
Who gave you the interpretation of the flag? Was it Pele Man that gave you the interpretation of the flag?
It
Was it
doesn't
Bassa
matter.
Man? No, it matters because it tells you about ideologies. We don't all have the same ideology. The person who formed the country, they have the ideology. You think of America today, if things were flipped on its head, right? And the blacks became the majority in this country, you think they will keep the same flag? You saw what happened in some of these different states. Where they started to change the flag. In very Minnesota, we changed our flag because there was something on the flag that was disparaging to the natives in this state. We changed our
That's
flag.
correct. That's correct.
Right.
But there's
So
nothing on this flag.
flag means, hold on, Mr.
Listen,
Gaiman, flag means something to people. And for certain people, when they look at a flag, it reminds them of something negative. That's why certain flagging, I think in Mississippi or Alabama, it has been changed because it has a history of slavery. And
yeah,
people who were affected by that flag, they advocated against the flag and they demanded for it to be changed. And in this time, it was prudent for them to change that flag because most people felt like it didn't represent them. So there's nothing wrong with people who feel like our flag currently as it is, it doesn't represent them and they want to be represented in the flag.
Are
So
you
my
one of
point
those
here,
people?
I am one of those people.
let him land. Go
I
ahead.
What do
am.
you propose?
And that's what I said. We have to have a council, you know, from every sector of the country, including the very people that started the country, and we all have to come together and make it into a national effort. This is an opportunity. We can use this as an opportunity to reinvigorate the patriotism within Liberians. Give us new symbol, collective symbols that we can look forward to. And when we see our flag, the young person who was born 10 years ago, 15 years ago, would have been taught what this means. Your people are represented in that flag. The person from Lofa can say your people are represented in that flag.
So
And we
can you
can
give
all
us
look
an
at that
example,
flag.
G?
No, that's what I'm saying. When you come together, right? You have a council, let's say a council of elders, for example, of people from each region will come together and bring their beliefs or the things that they hold sacred to them. For
Values
example,
and
let me deviate one
Mm-hmm.
second. Let me deviate for a second. Look at our county flags, right? Even though it's cartoonish, but every county has a representation of their ideals and what they feel like their land means to them. For certain people, you like Lofa, you have the river there, you have the I know that sickle or whatever they do for the farming. That when you look at it, you know what the people of Lofa, the people of Lofa stand for. You look at Grand Crew, you look at Monster, you look at all these different counties, they have they project what they see themselves as. So a flag can be incorporated from the different regions. It don't have to be for all the tribes, but from the different regions, including the people who formed the country, and we can all come. It will be a beautiful thing. I don't know why you don't understand it. That we can come and show that we are now one people. We have incorporated all of our lineages, and now we're one people. And then we change the symbols to represent each and every one. All the
Thank,
different regions,
thank
if
you,
not all the
Mr.
different
Morris.
tribes. And then
Thank you.
overall, you teach it to our kids so that they can
Right.
look forward to something that represents all of us. I think it's important. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't
Yes.
discourage the people who started the country. It doesn't take away anything from them. They will still have an input and they will still be represented in the new flag of our country, while as well as the other people who are excluded from it. That's
So
my
you
take
believe
on it.
right now? So you believe right now this flag does not represent you?
Mr. Eastman, real quick.
I look at that flag, it doesn't represent me. If you ask most Liberian young kids in Liberia right now when they look at the flag, what do they see?
Mr.
They
Padmore,
will,
hold
they
on.
will, they will, they will,
You're
they
gonna
will
close.
probably won't tell you anything substantial.
Mr. Padmore, you're
No,
gonna close on
Mr.
it. Let me
Mr.
go.
Towell, the revolutionary Mr. Towell has not talked yet.
Listen, Mr. Towell.
Okay.
The United States flag did not include Bassa people. It did not include me.
You are a minority. We are the majority in our country. You have to understand that.
Listen. The Indians that were the majority when these people came, they are not on the flag, but we are all defending the flag. Some of your nephews and nieces have died for this flag. Some of my relatives have died defending the United States in the military. We believe in the flag for what it stands for, and we all make it better. So what's the difference between us making this flag, fighting for it, giving it some meaning that when you
You don't
lift
have
this
the power
flag,
for the flag to represent you. You lack that
Sorry.
power. We have the power for it to represent
listen,
us now. We are in the minority, the
listen,
majority.
when you lift up the flag, the people should say, yeah, these people, they are people of substance. They have addressed, they have built their nation. Corruption is under control. Is a highly educated country, is successful, it is wealthy, it is well managed. This is how the flag is honored. I don't think we should leave all of our dirty clothes and just concentrate on the flag. It's not the flag. It is, like we said, not a suit. It is the man in a suit. We Liberians that are supposed to cherish the flag, we are rockish, we are corrupt, we have no morals, we don't have any values, and then we say it is the flag. Mr. Tawo, your take on this.
Okay. So look at what happened here. There is one lie that has been told to us for a long time since we were in school, and it's still being perpetuated everywhere. What really is colonization? Why did we say that the French colonized Ivory Coast? How did we come to that conclusion? We came to that conclusion based on the power relationship that existed between the few French that came in versus the Africans that live on our land. The reason, and you can go like across the whole of Africa with that question, but the reason I brought that up is to say that Liberia was never colonized. Yes, Liberia was colonized. It's right there. The American Colonization Society, ACS. What we are trying to miss is this. Is because the colonizers that show up, they had the same skin as us. So we think that because a white man did not come, the skin is not where the problem is. They had the entire mentality, the imperialist and affinity to the whites. So because to the point that Mr. Morris made. So when they came in with these symbols, the explanation that they're giving. When did you and somebody fight on some battlefield? Somebody come to your country, they murder you, they take your land, they write something, and they say the blood, our share, the battle that was fought, that the love and liberty brought us here. So we have to understand this. So what happened is the first thing that we must dispel, Liberia was colonized. Black people that were completely American in all of their ideologies and their culture and their entire makeup was sent there. You can look at the colonization society document. So that's the first rumor that's the first misconception that we should clarify here today. So Liberia was colonized. They came in, subjugated everybody, put into place of government. When the American Liberians arrived in Liberia, do you know the kind of governing system and state structure that was set up? To not understand or to refuse to understand how the culture functions because you want to subjugate them and you want to project yours as the most superior. So you said that it didn't matter, like the Europeans would say, that Africans did not write anything, but only for you to look at the entire civilization is based on everything that the African did and everything they wrote, including the medical system. Okay, so for that fact, let's dispel that. So yes, the flag, those symbols don't represent the majority of the people who say run your democracy. And if majority is left out, how is that democracy? It doesn't work. Minority cannot rule in a democratic system. There is no way. It's not possible. The majority will always rule, right? When you're talking about electoral democracy. So now, having said that, I will come to a point that Mr. Eastman made. He said that taking down the flag and all of this stuff, yeah, if it doesn't represent in this time, then it should be taken down. I agree with that. Or left in place. I agree with that. And he said that culture, because this is a strong point that he made. Culture is like the spirit, is the embodiment. That's the energy force that drive of people, that create the identity, that guide them. Without culture, you are lost. You are like a ship on the sea that is broken and just tossed all over by the wind. But why is it that when few people came, the culture of that country was left out? Because when the culture come in place, they were foreign to this culture, and two cultures cannot lay side by side. Culture of spiritual forces that fight to battle each other. If you put them on the same plane, one will elevate above the other, or one will suppress the other. The most dominant one, or the most will, or the one that is more in that is allowed, right? So the African culture, in every form, was suppressed. When your name was Gaiman or Tao, you couldn't go to school. So that way, you were dehumanized pretty much, and then you have to pretty much relinquish for you to fit in. So when we're talking about we should come together, yes, we should go back. It is not just the flag. The flag, these are symbols. Yes, the symbols can be changed. It means something. But look, it is the political, socio-economic structure that is in place. Because we come here every day and we cry and we complain. Why is it not working? You cannot rule yourself and rise by using somebody else's culture or cultural ideology, political. Let's look at in this country. You'll say there is justice here. There is no justice in the Western system. Justice is for sale. You must have money to get justice. Their justice system is based on technicality. Okay, the African justice system, given you grew up in the interior, is based on morality and ethics. If you had a case here today in Florida, they say justice for all, but then they will tell you hire the best lawyer. So then why are you hiring the best lawyer? Because it's for sale. You could be completely innocent. If you cannot hire the right lawyer, you are going to jail. You could be as guilty if you have the money to spend. So these are some of the stuff that we are struggling with what came in. I'm not trying to say this stuff here to discredit, because if you go back to the American Liberia when they came in, this was the time. And this is what they had to offer. They were coming in, and so they established themselves. That's okay. We can look at this now and say, look, there was a mistake there. Let us correct some of these things. But we have the correction of this stuff have to go based on the larger cultural context and position and tradition in that country. We are the only people in Liberia that our own formation is completely unique. It's completely unique, and it's like you're trying to join orange and pineapple together. It doesn't fit. Great. Okay, so if you go judge your case in Liberia in the traditional code, it's not that there are not missteps or corruption, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to have money. You take your case to the town chief. They've got a jury. You don't have to go raise money. You don't have to. So these are some of the stuff. So let us go back. Other than just a simple, I agree with Mr. Eastman very well that we should look deep in our culture. And like Mr. Morris said, this is the time that we really come together. But guess what? The group of people that are in power versus some are in the diaspora here. You know what that will do to us? It will make us to almost be irrelevant, because everything that we have learned to extract our own value and our own, to project ourselves as some kind of, when you start going to the culture, you are limited. Now you have to go actually to the chiefs and the elders, trying to understand them and trying to take that and see how you can elevate it and then make it to work on a national level. Guess what? Me and you, we are going to be left out. So we look at this to exert our own importance and our own place in that society. We defend. No, it shouldn't happen. Let's just leave it like this. And this is the problem that we have. I've come here every day. The problem we have is the system. We have to find a way to change that system. If we don't do that, we'll sit here every day. The corruption we're talking about is that system. The system you have is inherently corrupt.
In the culture can do it.
Okay. Yeah, in the African system, one last point so I can rest. In the African, in leadership in the African culture, you don't rise to power based on popularity. Based on that, you have the most money to spend. You rise in the chiefs, the elders, based on what you have contributed. Tangible contribution throughout. That is how you make those different journeys, and then you rise to that level. So under those conditions, you get good leaders. Good. Yeah, I can show up from anywhere and throw some money around. I'm popular. I sang, or I used to play football, or I used to dance, and then, or I stole some money. I can spend it here. I become president. So the system attracts criminals.
Great. Thank you.
Can I speak?
Mr.
Yes,
Padmo, I will give you 10 minutes to close this one out.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Let me debunk you the thing when you talk about. Let's see. I'm coming to you. This thing about the money system is corrupt. You didn't grow up in a village where you are not part of the zone. You can't get nothing going your way. So don't even go there with that. And secondly, like I keep saying, okay, we are in this country. The reason we are in this country and our children, our nephews are dying defending the United States. Were we here when they did the flag thing? There were only 13 colonies that did everything, and then everybody else came and then rallied around.
1950.
Yeah, and then more than that, because now they got everything. So what I'm saying here, it is we, the man in a suit, and not a suit, it's the man in a suit that makes that suit what it is.
Every time they got a new state, they put a new style there to represent our state.
Yes, we have to make sure.
They don't change the whole flag.
Make sure that their flag is worth something. If you walk somewhere and you say, I have the United States passport, and people say, Kampala, they let you go. You get a Liberian passport and say, wait on this side. Why? Because you and I collectively, we have fought to make the American flag that powerful. So what happened to us doing it for ourselves? Go ahead, Mr. Padmore.
Man, wow. Okay, so let me start off where you left off. Okay, the thing is that there's so many people that have come to this country called America, right? But people still look up to that flag, and you can talk all you want to talk about that flag, but the only thing that has really changed are the stars, right? For the major part, you know, there's been some evolution, but the structure has remained the same because it stands for something. It means something. If you want to come be a part, if you consider yourself a part of America, these are the values we stand for. You know, freedom, freedom of expression, all those things, an ability to progress yourself. These are the values. You know, the flag stands for something. So you can, but you know, at the same time, they understood that, look, when you find yourself in a particular part of the country, you're going to have some individual differences. So what we're going to do, we will allow states to have their own flags. In your state flag, you can express anything you want to express. Minnesota was a state, we just changed our flag this year. They called everybody together in Minnesota. The new immigrants, the Indians, the Native Americans. They called everybody together. Everybody made their contribution. They put it out there for people to submit ideas and meanings. And they put together a committee, and the committee chose. And now Minnesota has a new flag that's supposed to represent all Minnesotans. Every county in Liberia has been given an opportunity. Yeah, design your own flag. How you feel, you should be, how it represents you. That's great. But when it comes to the nation, we are one. You know, we stand for valor. We stand for courage. We stand for fidelity. We stand for integrity. I mean, come on. Those are the things. I hear people talking about, red, gold, black, and green. No. It is important that we research and we educate ourselves. Liberia, look, the red, gold, black, and green stands for African liberation. Liberia is older than African liberation. We are the elders in the room. They're picking and running around with new flag. They want to go and join. They're supposed to come to us. That's how it's supposed to be. That is how Liberia was founded. We helped Ghana. Ghana not get red, gold, and green, or whatever, black and green. We helped Ghana get to the table. And now we're supposed to subject ourselves to Ghana's idea of nationalism? No. Ghana had to fight their way out of the British. So they know how they came to be. They were part of African liberation. We were not a part of African liberation. We were already a country governing ourselves. So I don't want to suppose, oh, we'll run behind the African color. Who made those the African color? Who sat there and decided those are the colors that are going to be? You know, when we made our flag, how many flags were there in Africa that we could sit there and be like, let's compare it to this. Let's see what the other people did. No, we were working on a clean sheet. And those people sat down and said, okay, let's do it this way because we wanted to transcend history way beyond us. Somebody said something about Bassa people. Yes, when the country was founded, Bassa people were there. When the country was founded, Kru people were there. It wasn't, look, just because they tell you, say, oh, yeah, I know the truth. I'll be honest with you, Kru people were there.
Who were there?
Okay? Yes, Guillaume people were not there. You know, the Hinterland people, they were a little slower to come to it. But they came. You know why they came? Because the French are going to take their kingdoms. The French are going to take their land. They came to the coast and said, we want to be a part of y'all. We want to be a part. Please allow us to be a part of y'all. Let's come so we can all protect ourselves against the French and the British. That's how they came together. But finally, let me say something. I continue to hear this, and people continue to push this, and we need to really deep think. I keep hearing anything about the love of liberty brought us here. When they came, the small group of people, when they came, they stole our land, they killed our people, and they look in the southern United States.
Mr. Padmo,
don't open a can of worms. Yeah, don't open a can of worms.
Mr. Padmo, real quick, somebody got a question for you. Hello.
Let the person hold on 1 second. Let me finish the thought.
Yeah.
Let me finish the thought. In the southern United States, Georgia, South Carolina, going up to Virginia, where most of the, how we call it now, Congo people came from to begin the country, to start the country. There is a group there. They are called the Golakichi. Okay? They are a very, very fiercely cultural group. They survived slavery. And what is really unique about them is that they held on to the African culture. They are called the Golakichi. That name, Golakichi, is actually an evolution of the original name. The original name is Golagisi. It's a jointment of the Golas and the Gisi people. Everybody here know where the Gola and the Gisi people come from. Southern United States, today, you can go there and say, I'm looking for the Golakichi people. They will show them to you. Can you imagine a Gola man getting on a ship and returning to a land of his ancestors, and you call him a visitor? You call him an invader. The Golas, among the 16 tribes in Liberia right now, the Golas are the oldest tribe. They were the first to come and settle. Can you imagine a Gola man coming back to the land that he was told about? These are the lands of my ancestors. And then he get there, then you say, you are a stranger. You are a visitor. You are stealing our land. No. To that man, this is my father's land. How can I steal my father's land? How can I steal my own inheritance? We need to stop this thing about small group of poking and they care everybody.
When the bombing become accounted, before you talk about the Gola people, what the Gola bombing included in the formation of the country, that the Gola people can start the country?
Hey, guy,
Yeah,
1
Gola
minute.
people
1 minute.
dominated Liberia.
We got a call
All the
here. Go
time.
ahead, Chief.
Gola was
Go ahead.
dominating.
Little louder.
Yes.
Put it on speaker, okay? You ain't too good.
Put it on speaker, okay? Yeah.
Guys, I listened to the debate from the start of the show, but I'm not going to respond to the debate. I think I've heard the debate around Chinching Fledge and the different governance issue, but I have a debate. I have an argument that I started, and that's what I want to throw out there. I threw out the other night. One, the CDC and the Unity Party are the party of corruption. You can find yourself one of them. But these two parties for the past 20 years have actually led the country down the drain. What they've done in our country is they've increased poverty. They've increased public corruption. They created millionaires, not in private sector, but out of public coffers. Now, if you look at the system that allowed them to do is a flawed electoral system we have in Liberia. That anyone with money can actually get elected if you get sincere people around you, particularly at the constituency level, representatives and senators. They can easily get elected once they have money. That's the kind of system we have. My argument is they want to try. If you ask any Liberian intellectual, including those who showed now, you ask them today about the minuses and flaws, negative and positive of Samador, they will just say, oh, don't allow freedom of expression and blah, blah. They will not name that deep. And they will talk about maybe killing, which was the result of a civil war. But Joe did many good things in Liberia. And I'm going to take on this debate with anyone on any platform. And Joe was a military man. If you're looking at Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah developed he designed the conceptual framework for Ghana development. But the guy who actually made Ghanaians to believe that Nkrumah or design was good was Wallen, a military guy. If you look in Nigeria, Murtala Mohammed, Ibrahim Babangida, these people, estimate development that is taking place in Nigeria today. If you look in Burkina Faso, you talk about Thomas Sankara. Now we talk about Traore. I mean, so the names go on. We have tried one military instance, but we tried several democratic elections, and what the democracy has produced is poverty, massive corruption, or push our children into drug use because the people are stealing from national coffers. And it is indisputable that corruption kills more people in Africa than guns. Because corruption takes money from the health sector, and malaria kills more than 4 million people in Africa every year. Civil war has not killed people up to that level. If you combine the different African countries that were in civil war. So corruption is a serious thing. And democracy, the difference of democracy in Liberia has actually been massive corruption. That's why I'm arguing now that under the system of government, we need a second military intervention. Because we have one military intervention, and in my mind, it's just good for the country. We can argue this. It's just good for the country. That's my argument. All
right, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
The man calling for dictatorship. He wants something to do part two.
Listen, it's amazing that he has the freedom. He has the freedom to say that. People don't think through the whole thing.
That's threatening. That's not freedom to say. He's threatening the peace of our country.
He has the freedom to get on a public radio station or public radio media and say such thing and be very calm that nobody going to come to his door and knock on his door. Obviously, where he lived during the Doe era, if you had said that during the Doe era, they were going to come knock on your door, oh man, and you were going to go missing. So
the main point is that Doe did a lot of development. So since Doe died, we developed the way we were developing during Doe time.
The way he was from the was still going to get missing.
You're going to get missing. Probably.
Y'all bring that to me. He's bringing that funny.
You're your boss. I will tell you.
Mr. Padmore.
Yes,
sir. What I'm missing in the beginning, there were things that culminated that led to that.
We want to close it now, but I made this analogy yesterday. If you have a groom and a bride, and all the bridesmaids are prettier.
Okay. You going back to the Brahmin, put it in the weather, man. Okay.
And the groom man didn't look good, and the groom he said doesn't look good. Sometimes the bride look the other way, or the groom look the other way. We don't want
Oh
that.
God.
Listen,
Mr. Jimmy, what
I'm
you
saying
talking
this.
about?
Is it we who are supporters of democracy, are we so bad that other people are looking at other bridesmaids?
Yeah, the people admiring, trying in Burkina Faso, dictator, military man.
Mr. Padmo, they gotta speak to us. We who are defending this. Why when we leave and go, we say we're not only defending our country and our family, but we are defending a rule of law. We are defending a system of thought. Why we don't do that? For someone to say they are looking at the dictatorship compared to, oh, we are in bad shape.
Mr. Gaming, let me ask you a question. Who brought up this flag business? Is it the GMB government or was it just people on Facebook?
No, we have been discussing. Listen, we've been discussing it since
I thought the government considering.
time. Every time we get tired, we
have been discussed a long time.
Yeah, but
government always running away from this thing. All the government that run away. I don't know why Joe didn't change it, because Joe came and top
Joe understood.
Yeah, but Mr. Eastman, changing it means nothing. If you
Mr. Palmo, you genuinely want to play the team because people in the corner of the country. You want be a chest and say that when people fall in the country. That the quiet part there, say that one out loud.
Mr. Padmore. Mr. Padmore, now the Basso people, the Crew people, the Gribble people, and the Congo people. Those are the four people that brought this thing. The group of people were not there.
The group of Masala was there. The group was don't. What you mean the group was not there? Why you let the group of you through, man?
I said
the group was there for Sano too. They were part of the culture when the culture started. What you mean that? How you say I gotta do that? No group of Sano. Tell the better job. Man, I group of men for doing the thing in Sano country. What you mean that no group of Sano? What are they?
We talk about the original people.
So what they give a great deal when they come from the Maryland when they give them the Bush group and the Sea group.
Mr. Morris.
So here's the thing. The global people had their own nation. When the French people hit it in, they couldn't hold on to their own nation. They called Montreal straight. They sent messenger running for days. So please.
You see that what I'm telling you that man that you get that you're the one save all the good people there. The great people get a Italian article called Talo. And they're doing very well there in Ivory
Is it true that Maryland joined Liberia?
Yes, Maryland joined Liberia.
Isn't that true?
It was 1857.
That's correct. That's true.
Can I say something?
So what's wrong with that?
Can I say something?
Yes. Well, anyway, let's go to closing. You got 1 minute.
I will close.
Can I close first? So
yeah. Go ahead. You gotta go. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, let me close that. No, I think it's been a great show. I think the flag argument we'll probably have it again next year, August 24th. So it's not something that's going to go away. But it's been a great show today. Great ideas. Even though we disagree on a couple of points, I think the government needs to take heed to what we're saying and start to treat its citizens with dignity. I think at the end of the day, we're all Liberians, whether you're from the CVC, the ANC, the whatever C you're from. We're all Liberians, and we deserve, at a minimum, to be treated with dignity. We need to respect the rule of law. This president has bent the rule of law on multiple occasions and seems to be getting away with it. And the word I keep using is impunity. And because they believe that they can get away with it, that's why I think President Weah has done the right thing, to not waste his time to go to the courts to bring this up. It's an urgent matter that needs to be dealt with urgently. Thank you very much, guys, and have a good rest of your afternoon. Take care.
Great. Mr. Taiwo, you're closing.
Yeah. So, Mr. Padmo, I like this guy. For the simple
Mr.
fact
Pablo,
that
you gotta listen. When they say they like you, they come and hit you hard.
No. I'm serious. No, I'm serious, because like what happened is that we talk here, and his point. And when people are trying to cut me off, he gives me protection. And it's not just today. I like him for that. And Mr. Padmo, When I first heard him, I thought that was my oldest brother. They talk exactly the same way. They sound the same, all to the point. So I always actually kind of have some kind of closeness to him. Every time we come here, but I just never said it. But look, but to the point of the Congo stuff or the flag, we can't. A lot of wrong was done. We can't just say because French people were coming and Gribble people ran there. A lot of wrong was done. The Bassa people didn't just join or Maryland. That look at the name of the place, Maryland. The Gribble people had no place there. The Congo people that came settled along the coast, they had the guns. They captured those places, and then they incorporated the. In fact, they started a war against the Monrovia for some time without the vast majority of the people in those counties. Then when they were able to feel comfortable that their area were going to be protected, where they call Buchanan, where they call Harper, Maryland, all this stuff, then they joined. The Gribble people in general, don't use their name. They didn't have no place in that. The Bassa people in general, they didn't have no place in that. When Harper and all the places were set up, who named that? They came together, they wrote the Constitution, whatever, or in those places. So look, let us be realistic here. A lot of things happened that was not right. Like Mr. Morris said, like Mr. Eastman said, let this be an opportunity. Let us not try to want to hold on to something old. For me, it's not whether the flag change or not. Those are symbolic. If we change the culture and we change the mentality and we forge a new foundation to move forward on, guess what? Those things probably become irrelevant anyway. Or they will just be there not just as a regular symbol that we can just look at, but then we'll be moving in some direction. But look, please, let us not try to use the United States as some kind of example in terms of this, that, oh, we represent. No, but the flag and all of the documents, they don't represent the majority, the rest of the people in the U.S. It's only represented the so-called pilgrims. And it's the same problem that we have in Liberia. The Native Americans that so-called own their land that were wiped out. You want to tell me the flag represented them? When they wrote, all men are created equal, when black people are in chains, are you telling, and they were not calling them men, they were calling them half human, does that represent them? No, it doesn't. So we shouldn't use that. So there's a whole different scenario. Let's focus on the Liberia situation. Let us try to come together. Let us agree that, hey, some things were not done differently, guys. I mean, correctly. Let us not let's use this as an opportunity. Let's look at this. Whether it is this year or at some point, but let this be a discussion so that we can seriously, because these are the reasons that we don't have any kind of national identity. Because all of the things that represent the state only represent a small group of people, and the vast majority of the people are left out. So then how can they unite around this? So like Mr. Morris and Mr. Eastman said, let us take this, come together, see how we can actually create an integrated system. It worked in many places. And then from there, let's start. It's not whether the flags are changed or whether the seal just right away, but just the ideological clarity and unity that can come. And then let's move on from there.
Thank you. Mr. Morris.
All right, thank you. Look, on the issue of the CDC, my only advice is to use the courts, as I said. On the issue of the flag, look, this is something that is happening right now in this modern world as we speak. We have countries changing their name to more reflect their values and their culture. You saw Turkey, for example. Well, it was spelled in English words, in English letters, Turkey. They said, no, we're going to change it to Turkey because that's how we pronounce it in our language. It reflects us. We're going to change it. You saw a country like Ethiopia change their flag. When they transitioned from a monarchy to a democracy, they changed their flag, put a different, when they removed the lion and put a star, a bright star, they changed it because it was more reflective of who they are. The Arab country, though I don't like to associate myself with the Arab countries, but they all changed their flag in a similar manner that show they're all Arabs and they come from that region, that flag, that green, red, and black, a green, white, and black, it represents them. So changing flags and changing symbols or even changing names, when time change and people, have a common interest or a common goal or a common destiny, you can change your symbols to reflect that. There's nothing wrong with it. We're not trying to steal anybody, history or anybody greatness for establishing a country. We want to be represented. Let me tell you this. The dead black man, the way you see the white people, they're scared in the country right now. They don't want to be replaced. They're always crying. They're trying to replace us with immigrants. Our women are born enough children. Our population, because they know that they're the minority is in the majority in this country. a lot of things in this country will change. Believe it or not, a lot of things will change. White people still make up 60% of this country, so they're still the majority. But if they're in the minority, a lot of the nonsense that they did, a lot of the statues that they put up, a lot of the symbols that is on the front to black people, to Indian people, a lot of those things will change because these people will be the ones who have the ability and the power to change those things. Rest assured in that. So people want to worship them or only look up to the American flag because they have no other option. When a black man whose ancestors were enslaved, you think when they look at that American flag, they think freedom. You don't know they think 400 years of slavery. They think 400 years of oppression, segregation. You don't think that reflects them. And because they don't have the power to change it, but if they did get the power to change it, they will change it so that it reflects them as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Eastman?
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a very, very good show. We touched on several points. But for me, what I see most important, a lot of times we say the system is bad. Man, the system in Liberia is bad. It's this. And we look at it as the system, and the system, we don't look at it as the culture. If we can address our culture and stimulate change, radical revolution in our values, we will automatically change the system, we'll automatically change the country. But we're going after creating goals. I don't care how many bridges you try to build, how many schools you try to do. It will not work if you don't address the culture. It's the culture, is the nucleus. That has to be addressed in a way that will stimulate the kind of behavior you're looking for to have from your citizens. So it's a radical. If you see, they talk about Rawlings on the show today. We talk about all the Sankara. They went to change the culture of the way things were being. It was not just the system, because the system alone rests on the culture. So if we're going to have a new republic, to me, after 1980, I said that was an old republic. This is a new republic. This is the second republic. Unfortunately, I'm putting my progressive brothers tell me this thing. They say the revolution was hijacked. I don't know. If you have not changed your values, then how you can consider that a revolution? Your values have to change. So an examination of our values right now, the things we hold dear, our culture, why don't we examine it? And why don't we come together and see what we consider important? And let's see if we can bind ourselves to that, if we can get the commitment from our people to live that way. But if I have a brother and every time he see that flag, he think of oppression, I don't feel good about that. You know, I have dual heritage. You know, my great grandfather was a paramount chief in Riverside, and even over there, we don't believe that just anybody can go be president.
Nope.
No, you got to be cultivated.
Yep.
So I agree with a lot of my brothers that certain things need to be changed. Yes, if that is the best way forward, then we should change it. But it has to be a deep self-examination of our culture.
Thank you. Mr. Panmore.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. One of the most disturbing things I heard today was that our children don't feel represented. Our children don't know what the flag stands for. That is profound, because it means we're not teaching our children the history of Liberia. We're not teaching our children the essence of Liberia. And it doesn't matter what flag it is. Whether we change flag today, we change flag every 10 years. Because now they see the Fulapo coming to join, so maybe we got to make space for the Fulapo, so when they come, we got to change the flag one more time because the Fulapo need to be represented.
Charaba.
But we have an obligation as citizens of Liberia, as citizens of a nation, as descendants of Liberians, to teach our children the history, the values of Liberia. And I'm not talking about the value of Monrovia. No, I'm talking about the values of Liberia. Where you got your value, where you got your cultural grounding. We have to teach our children these things. Okay? Yeah, for me, I'm half. Where one you give Congo, America, Liberia? Where one you won't give it? You know? And I'm half Bassa. So I teach my children the grounding of both. I teach my children the substance of Liberia. They want to know why we live in a country, we grow up in a country, but every day you run into Liberia. Every day you're spending money in Liberia. Every day you're investing in Liberia. They want to know why. So I have to sit down and explain to them why. Why Liberia? Why Liberia is so special? Why when you speak about Liberia and being of Liberian descent, you should sit up, you should square your shoulders, and you should raise your chest. Why you should be so proud of such a nation. Why you should be. And it's something we have to teach our children. No school can do it for us. Even though we call on the government to teach civics and to do everything, but it's a personal obligation for us to do. And it doesn't matter, like I said, it doesn't matter if we change the flag or not. Now, to the other issues that we talk about. Okay, look, when Liberia was founded, Liberia was a coastal country. You know, it was Mesurado. It wasn't even Montserrado. It was Mesurado, it was Bassa, it was Sanu. That was the country right there. The rest of what we know today as Liberia, the 43,000 square miles, was not incorporated into Liberia. So Liberia was founded based on those three places. Okay? All the other areas in Liberia, they were independent. They were like autonomous. They were not subjugated to Monrovia. They ran their own kingdoms. They had their own leaders. They had their own culture. People like to say this thing as if 1847, the people came down, they went to Vondema, they went to Sanikwele, they went to Zwedru, and they just took over the entire area. That's not how Liberia was founded. When Liberia founded the Monrovia in Monrovia, they were doing their politics in Monrovia. The president of Monrovia did not have barely any influence over what happened in Tuzon, or what happened in Tapeta, or what happened in Vondema. Those places were ran by kings and chiefs, and they had their own system, and they ran their own system, and they had their own land. Monrovia didn't go there and take over the land. It's called tribal land. Right now, you go Bon County and you want to buy land in Bon County. You don't go Monrovia and buy land from Joseph Boyka government. No, you go to the tribal leaders. You buy land from the tribal leaders. I don't know if people know this. You don't buy land from the government. The only thing the government does is issue you a certificate and say, okay, now you own the land. Go tomorrow and try and buy farmland in Bon County. You will buy it from the tribal leaders. You go and meet the chief. And then the chief will sell you land. It's the tribal land. That's how it's always been in Liberia. They didn't come in. Yes, Montserrado, Mesurado, there were skirmishes and things like that happening. Absolutely. But these people did not come and steal for the 3,000 miles, 3,000 square miles. Majority of that were tribal leaders to do as they please. That's how Liberia has always been. And it's something that we need to be proud of. So when we talk about Liberia, we need to take the emotion of it and actually look at what really happened. Finally, CDC. Look, Joseph Boyka, running the government already is hard enough. Why are you going to add CDC trouble to your trouble? Why are you going to add CDC trouble to your trouble? Right now, everybody is instrumental with CDC. These are the youth of Liberia. You can say they are misguided. You can say they have been indoctrinated. They are still the youth of Liberia. They are still our future leaders. Nobody will sit down and inject tear gas every single day. It will not happen. It will not happen. Unity Party, nobody will sit down and allow you to do that to them every single day. So every single time you send security forces to CDC headquarters, they are gaining more momentum. And they are gaining more sympathy. And people will start to side with them more. Even if we don't side with the children of the rats, will say you cannot continue beating this jar over and over and over and over. Why? When you're on a CDC, people steal. Then when Grace May go and steal, then you leave it like that. When Gideon's go and steal, you leave it like that. But as soon as they travel and talk small thing, you send the security forces over there. Stop. Look, governing the country is hard enough. Fighting corruption is hard enough. Developing the country, attracting investors is hard enough. Leave CDC alone. Let CDC stay in the compound. Let them chant the chant. Let them do what they want to do. It's the freedom that we express. Our dictatorship brother, the one I talk calling for military rule. You know, every night that man I said I got full. I don't know where they go to the hut today. It got full. Look, Jerry Rawlings took over as a military man. He didn't govern like Ghana as a military man. He took over because the system that was in place wouldn't allow him to move forward politically. So the only choice he had was, if I'm going to rule Ghana, I have to take over militarily. But he didn't run Ghana militarily. He didn't sell Ghana to the Ghanaian people militarily. No, he didn't do that. He was elected and elected and elected, and he was good. He was honest, so he didn't have to rig elections. He didn't have to do that. Democracy, I will say this in a quote from Ronald Reagan. Democracy is not perfect. It's not perfect. But democracy is the best governance we have come across in human history.
That's a lie. Hey, I want to ask one question.
No, come on.
No, not him. No, it's just a general question. Hey, when you want to call into the show, like, do you have to have a special account?
No.
The telephone number right there. You can call.
There are certain carriers, like I think T-Mobile and one other carrier, they will charge you 1 cent per minute.
Okay, because
so you call it a conference line.
It will tell me that this number cannot be called.
Really? I've never experienced that before.
Oh, that's the internet number you're using.
Okay, man. You the new Congo mayor. You the new Congo mayor now, so I don't want all that stuff that you say.
Listen, gentlemen, we got alternative. If you have someone that wants to call you, they will call. They can call you on your phone. You can put them on the phone. You can put them on here like I did. This is my number. They always call. If they can't get through, they can call you directly, and you put on speaker and put on the phone, and we listen. So no way anybody should be stopped from calling in. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Padmore.
I'm done. It's been a great show. It's been a great Sunday. I mean, look, I love the fact we might disagree, but I love the fact we can come on here, we can express our opinion, we can express our thoughts. And at the end of the show, we can still respect everybody for their opinion, and we can still laugh, and move forward as Liberians. That is the most beautiful part about the whole thing that I love coming here. So great show. I look forward to next week. We'll see what will make the news this coming week, and then we'll definitely be here to discuss it next Sunday. Please, people, join us.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Padmore talked about the teaching. When I came to this country, my first child went to pre-K, and they were teaching these kids how to wash their hands. They were teaching them how to be in line, wait for your turn. When you finish eating, you put your garbage in the bin. You don't put it on the floor. You clean up after yourself. They did that from pre-K. By the time the kids were graduating, 5th grade, going into middle school, they were seasoned. I had a representative from Grand Bassa County. We went to Walmart, and the line was very long, and everybody was in the line. So I told him, I said, do you see this line? Do you see any senators here, any representative? He said, I can't tell. I said, that's the point. These people, this was ingrained in them from birth, basically. So when they get here, some of these guys are multi-millionaire, they are representative, but they know when they get here, they need to be in line. They didn't just learn it. They were not born with it. It was ingrained. It was taught.
So when we want to hold up this flag, everybody has something called pride. When you are proud of something, you hold on to it. When we teach our kids from birth the importance, the symbol, what it represents, and who we are, and if we live by those cultures that we're talking about, to be honest, to respect your elder, respect the other person, rule of law, all of these things we need. If we follow that, everybody will love our flag. But if you have a flag and the Congo people in there, they stole it, we accuse them of stealing money. Then the country boys came in, like PLO said, they want the country people doing that. They are stealing at an industrial level. They're not regular stealing. Industry is an industry. So if you're doing this, you say the Congo people didn't do this for us. You got the power. You got more money. During our childhood, representative was making $200 a month. Now you are making $30,000 per month. And you say the flag, you don't want to talk about yourself. You don't want to talk about your inability to develop your neighborhood. Somebody showed Grand Cru today. I they call it the capital city of Grand Cru. And they said, look at Bagleyville. Look at Bagleyville. This is capital. And you got president from there. You got a speaker from there. You got a pro tem from there. You got these people. And you want to blame the flag? You want to blame the Congo people still? So my people, this flag is a distraction. Let us do it. You look in your home. Some of you have sent money to your cousin, your brother to build homes. And they stole your money. They lied to you. Some of them send you fake picture of homes. That's not a flag. The guy who came and impregnated a 13-year-old girl in his house, and when they went to look for him, he ran to the devil bush and said, "We have tribal law, we got constitutional law. You can't touch me." That's not a flag that did that. That's not a flag. That is somebody who is morally bankrupt. We see my own friend, Dr. Reed. He is the pastor to the church's council. He is now being appointed by Joseph Boakai, and he can't say anything anymore. That the flag, the chief imam, the Muslim people, crying now said on LEC board. Joseph Boakai put him on the board. So the Muslim community is shut up. The Christian community is shut up. Is that the flag? These are people that got no morals. They got no principles. You think that it's not the Cry will come and say, you know what? I'm a godly man. My job is to keep the balance. I don't want to work in government. Dr. Reed, no, from Providence Baptist Church, you think he would say, you know what? We had a separation of church and state. But instead, they all got into this government. They're getting paid, and nobody's saying, is that the flag? That's our own moral deficiency. We shouldn't blame the flag. It's not the symbol that doing it. It is us. Until we can change who we are and do the right thing, you can change the flag a million times. We will be right where we are. Next Sunday, we will talk about the attempt by Joseph Boakai to not invade Georgia's house, and the Supreme Court is split on this because they found it to be unconstitutional. We're going to discuss that. And we're going to be talking to Mr. Kwiwokpa, no holds bar. He's going to be out here. We're going to be talking about Liberia, Nimba, his father, and his legacy. Until then, we say we are all Liberian. Mr. Padlock, can you take us out?
We are